This newscast is sponsored by NBA 2K22. This will be my background, and I will not touch the ball. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brian News Report. No music, no anything, because we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about the top story of the day in wrestling. Let's get to the wrestling news. So, we had a shocking development last Monday night due to the main event. And I'm going to tell you what it was supposed to be. The main event, apparently, to people around backstage, and they did show it on the advertisement, it was going to be a 6-pack challenge for the Women's Championship. Now, the 6-pack challenge, it was supposed to be Sasha Banks, Naomi, Becky, Asuka, I think it's supposed to be Doudrop, and Nikki ASH. I think those are the 6. Don't quote me on it, but I think those are the 6. Those 6 are supposed to step into a 6-pack challenge for the women's title. Winner faces Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. The original plan was actually for Naomi to win. It's Sasha Banks. Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. As I was saying, yeah, that was the original intent. It was going to be Naomi winning to face Bianca Belair. Now, is it the thing that Sasha was mad that she was going to lose? Well, no. Actually, both her and Naomi felt disrespected. And before the match even started, before the main event started, like right before, both women straight up walked out and had no intent of doing the match. They just straight up walked out. So, definitely walked out. So now, I'm gonna find the WWE statement on the Sasha Banks walkout. Now, of course, Miss Naomi and Sasha Banks has not said a word. Sasha and Naomi has been very quiet. The only thing Naomi said was a quote, live your dreams. It's not as hard as it may seem. You gotta work to get the cream. On your hopes you must lean. From tears you must win yourself. It's all or nothing. Give your everything. And then it has musical notes. So that's the last thing she said. Banks, completely silent. She's very silent on the deal. Which I'm not really surprised. Because looking at everything, like, a lot of fans are going to trash her for it. A lot of people are going to go at her head. And I expect Banks for taking maybe a few more days before she says her statement. I do have a feeling she is going to state her statement. She's going to state a statement. She's going to put a long letter saying how she feels. And we'll see what Sasha or Naomi says. Because Naomi just put a quote, but it's very mysterious. We don't know what that means. But for Banks, we don't know what she's going to say yet. So, if I could just find the WWE statement. I think I found it on Instagram, I think. And I want to know in the comments, I want to know on the stream right now, do you believe this statement? Is the statement false? How do y'all feel? Because a lot of people saying it's a work, because WWE would never put a thing like that, but other people like saying, like, no, this is WWE generally coming out with the statement. So, let me know what side y'all believe in. Here we go. During the broadcast, they walked into WWE Head of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis' office, the guy who does the firings, with their suitcases in hand, placed their tag belts on the desk, and walked out. They claimed they were not respected enough as tag team champions. Now, first of all, I know a lot of people took this out of context and be like, fuck Sasha Banks, fuck Naomi, fuck kind of doing this whole racial thing. Even Swerve Scott said the blacks respect, but this dude basically said, of course you're gonna respect him because he's black or whatever, and then Swerve answered back. Then someone else went in the chat, then Punk answered back. It was a whole back and forth. It was so toxic. I hate y'all Twitter bros. Like, that's why I'm barely on it. That's why I'm only there to talk with my boys. Like, I don't care about all y'all takes. Y'all takes some garbage. There's some bad ones on Instagram, but Instagram, it's not as bad. So, screw y'all. But for my good friends, A, shout out to y'all. Um, but yeah, people basically were shitting on Sasha for and walking out, but I don't blame them. WWE these days, their booking is not right. We've been saying this for many months. Just unify the women's division. Just unify the tag division. You don't gotta do world title. Just do the women's and the tag titles. You do that, you're gonna have so many more matches. You'll have guys from Raw fight Usos, guys from Raw uh, fight women from SmackDown. Like have Ronda unify the titles with the main champion and the tag champions. And if you want to have a simple tag division, yeah, both women's on both brands, you can do that because you can do triples and fatal tag matches easy. So I do not blame Sasha and Naomi for being rejected. This is the same thing that happened to Sasha and Bayley, but the difference is Sasha lost the match and she walked out. She was not happy about it. She was crying her eyes. If you saw the documentary, she walked out for a few months. She held it out. But then she came back with blue hair and everything was fan and dandy. But I do think, before I get to the last statement, which is the important statement that they put, I do feel. Now, I know there's a lot of stands. There's a lot of fans that suck up Sasha a lot. I get it. I have a friend that does. I used to have a friend that does that. I get that because Sasha Banks is a very pretty lady. You respect that. But I will say, Sasha Banks is probably one of the most disrespected women in WWE. Here's why. Every time Sasha Banks wins a championship, she has a short reign. She either has it flip-flopped, she gets hurt, which is it's not her fault, it just happens. Or every time she wins a title, they don't put enough energy into the reign as like other women, like a Bayley or Asuka or a Becky Lynch or a Bianca Belair or a Ripley. Like they didn't put that much energy into Sasha's reigns. And in NXT, they gave her all the energy. They gave her everything. They let her have her car. They did this. They did that. They did cool entrances for her. She had a blinding belt. Like, that's the Sasha Banks that I thought we were going to get in the main roster. And for the most part, for her first couple runs, that's what we got. We got the full energy Sasha Banks. But the last few months when she's gotten the blue hair, dude, she can't win a WrestleMania. She lost to Bianca Belair. My friend's still salty about it. I don't know why he's so salty about it, but it is what it is. Sasha lost at WrestleMania. Hasn't recovered since. Finally wins at WrestleMania, but it's not even for a title I would have had her win. I would have had her win the women's title at WrestleMania, not the tag belts. And they try to put life into this tag division. That hasn't worked either. Like, yeah, they got a cool Finn, but other than that, and facing people a little bit from Raw, now hearing that Fox wants exclusive rights, which Banks is on SmackDown, by the way, and Naomi's on SmackDown, it's gonna ruin the whole thing. So not only is the TBD execs getting at fault, WWE is having a big issue with Sasha Banks because Sasha Banks doesn't get the much respect she deserves. Sasha Banks is an excellent ring talker. She can back it up in the ring. She's not like just a pretty girl that sucks. No, she's a legitimate wrestler. And if Sasha Banks ever thought of going Hollywood or do more Star Wars roles like The Mandalorian or to hop back into the series, I don't blame her because she's got the looks for Hollywood, she's got the mic for Hollywood, and she knows how to work Hollywood because she already did work some Star Wars, did some commercials and stuff. But she looked like she's built for that. She looked like a Hollywood actress star. She looked like she could win a Grammy. Or not a Grammy, sorry, an Oscar for acting. Like, she looks like an actor. And she already has experience by doing promos with women. So it must not be too hard. So I don't blame Sasha if she ever wants to go Hollywood because of what they did to WWE. Now, we don't know what Sasha truly feels yet. She hasn't released a statement, like I said. No statements been released from Sasha, only Naomi, but not really a statement. It was more of a cryptic tweet with a quote. This situation is getting absolutely wild. But I don't blame both women. I just don't. I don't blame them because WWE's Women's Division is probably the worst it's ever been. And I'm not saying, oh, booty short women, sexy, like, attitude. No. I'm just saying booking wise. There's no energy in that women's division. There's no standout star that wants to be there and gives energetic feel to this women's division. At least with AEW, they try to put their full energy. Yeah, it doesn't need work. Yes, of course. But they're still signing people, first of all, because they got to fill out that women's division somehow. If they can get Athena, which I'll talk about Jokers later, but I'm hoping they get Athena because hearing Athena's interview about WWE really showed me that the energy that you want, the passion, with her and Thunder Rosa at the helm, which are best friends, of course, that would be an awesome way for Athena to get back into major TV wrestling. And plus, she only needs to do 2 nights. She could do both Rampage and Dynamite and that's it. She don't gotta travel much. Yeah, you gotta travel to the place, but she can go back home and rest for the rest of the week because it's only Wednesday and Friday. Unless she's needing for pay-per-view on Sunday, of course. Which she's probably gonna do that first half schedule. But then when there's no pay-per-views, dude, all the breaks in the world. So for Athena, I would love for it to be Athena. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but see, that's an example of of another company putting their foot forward. It'd be like, hey, we want to make our women's division better. Tony knows this. Tony said himself, he said, is our women's foundation is what we want. But we don't have the star power to fill it out. So if Tony could just fill it out with a few stars, a few free agents, huge big pieces, generational pieces, because they already did it with Tony and Ruby Soho, but they need those 2 extra pieces, that kind of passionate energy. You're going to have a great women's division for the future. You have a great women's division. So I'm hoping it's Athena. I mean, it could be Candice. If it is Johnny, it's probably going to be Candice. Which, Candice is cool. I think this will really bring out her potential because Candice LeRae had a lot of potential in WWE. But I kind of want it to be Athena. Because that energy level of Athena, I think, would elevate the division so well. The elevation of that division needs like a woman like her. You know, because they have good girls like Chris Statlander has started coming to her own. You know, they got the baddie section in there. You got Thunder Rosa. You got Nyla, who can be good, but they just don't put enough energy. Like, you know, so you have pieces. You just have to fill it out, let's say. Okay, so that was statement 1. Now let's get to the second statement, and this was the one that got the most buzz. Even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their matches. Stop right there. WWE finally admitting and finally going outside the lines, saying even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match. They're finally saying that the matches are scripted and they have to be rehearsed. WWE is usually very kind of anti and quiet about that stuff, while AEW kind of embraces that stuff but makes it more realistic. So, shows the difference. They claimed they were uncomfortable in the ring with their 2 opponents, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence. Now, apparently the rumor of the matches that they had issues with, I think, was with Doudrop and Nikki ASH, even though last week they had a match and they were safe. I'm gonna call little BS. Now, if this is true, it is what it is. Hey, that's Sasha's thought and Naomi, even though they just competed. I'm gonna call little BS though, because WWE could be covering that up. Maybe it's someone else that we don't know. Maybe it's someone in the match, which are of course also in the match. But why would it be Asuka and Becky? Asuka and Becky have worked with Sasha before, and Naomi technically, because Asuka teamed up with Naomi before. So why would they be uncomfortable with that? Maybe they thought, maybe it was conflicting stories of both their stories together, or if Naomi wins is gonna affect Sasha, which I do think I agree. I think it is gonna affect Sasha, or if Sasha won, it would affect Naomi. I also think that as well, because Naomi finally kind of rebuilt herself back up to being a decent person. But after the Sonya feud, you don't want to lose that momentum. But then you give her a title opportunity against Asuka. That's gonna cause a little ruffles in the feathers. And I feel like that's why Banks and Naomi walked out and said, we can't do this. So they had to flip flop the main event, which, by the way, the main event was Asuka and Becky, and Asuka got the win. So it's going to be Asuka and Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. And then this line made me laugh so much. And it just proves my point that WWE does not have any line of sight. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live show. They finally said it. The word that people think is scary, and some WWE stands are like, that's not true. I mean, WWE said it themselves. It's a live scripted show. So, just saying. The requirements of the contract, not to say that AEW is a little scripted. Their promos are obviously not scripted. You could tell off the beat of the promo, they're definitely not scripted. But the matches I can see being like, it's a little scripted because they gotta rehearse. Same thing with WWE. You gotta rehearse it. You gotta make sure it's perfect. So that part, a little bit. But the promos, no. WWE promos are absolutely scripted, while AEW freedom all the way. You can say whatever the fuck you want. So just keep that in mind. The requirements of their contract, we regret we were unable to deliver as advertised tonight's main event. And that was the statement. Now I want to actually look up the Sasha, which by the way, I did watch her interview on Cold as Balls. Very fun interview. Looked hot as ever. You know how it is. Let me look up the Sean Ross Sapp, like, cutout of what they said. I think I took a picture of it in one of my chats. Holy, oh, we'll talk about NBA in a little bit. And the disappointment of the Suns. I'm gonna go off on the Suns just a bit. Sorry, I'm scrolling up here. My friend sends me a lot of stuff. That's the. Okay. Oh no, sorry, that was a big demon right there. Okay, here it is. So here's a Sean Rapp adaptation, the longer version of what WWE said, because Sean Rassap gets the more information. So here's via Sean Rassap and all the other news sources. When Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived at the arena this afternoon, they informed they were participating in the Raw main event. Seems easy enough, right? During the broadcast, they walked into the head relations of John Laurinaitis' office with their suitcases and placed their tag title championship belts on the desk and walked out. They claimed they were not respected enough as tag team champions, even though they had 8 hours to rehearse, construct their match, and claimed that it was uncomfortable in the ring to work with 2 of their opponents, just like the statement said, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequences. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live show. Those characters are expected to perform the requirements of their contract. We were unable to deliver as advertised tonight's main event. So apparently, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out straight up for creative differences. Not even the women's fault. That part there with the whole match thing, it's a little passe. That's what people are saying. Straight up walked out of creative differences between who was going to be the winner and who was going to lose. Straight up walked out with Naomi and said, "We're done." Dropped the titles, walked out of the arena. Didn't see the rest of the night. They were supposed to be in a major main event. Would have got Naomi the win, but it would have affected Sasha because Sasha would have lost. And I guess Naomi and Sasha did not agree with that. Vince was not budging apparently. He was like, "We're going with the same plan." Sasha didn't like it. I'm assuming maybe they had a meeting with Vince about finishing the plans. They tried to change something. Vince said, "Nope, I'm not budging." And I guess Sasha stormily and Naomi walked out of the room, went to John Laurinaitis, dropped the belt, and left. Now, I'm going to finish up this thing in a second and we're going to move on to the next story. I just want to say one thing. I am on team Sasha and Naomi. I don't blame these women for walking out. The reason I say that is because WWE's booking for the women has been so awful. Now it's trying to get it restarted with Rhea Ripley, but I don't even know if that's going to work. Even though Judgment Day does look interesting. And I'm very intrigued to see what they do with the Hell in a Cell with Liv Morgan, per se. That's interesting, right? But the issue is, they don't let the women speak their mind. They're very scripted. They don't let these women be badasses. Bro, one is dressed up as a goddamn superhero. One is, I don't know what she is, a doll thing that was with a terrible Eva Marie. Like I don't know how you answer that. One is finally back with the Miss, which, hey, I like Asuka, so I don't mind. Becky's Becky. Bianca is Bianca. And then, of course, the ones that come up for SmackDown, you don't really got anyone. You have Raquel, who already faced Ronda in a so-so match. Uh, Banks, who's always great, but she's in the tag division. She's not in the women's division. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's in the women's division. She's not in an important role. Shayna Baszler's ruined. No one cares about Natty. Try to care about Ronda. You really can't, because she's very muted and also can't really talk that much. So that's going to kind of affect her. And those are like the really names I could think of. So you can see there's, first of all, the women's division are very small. Look what SmackDown barely has anything, first of all. And secondly, the women's division in general has no energy, no passion. Just nothing. It's just nothing. There's nothing interesting to talk about, maybe except Rhea joining Judgment Day, which could save her. I'm not saying it won't, just saying. But that's it. Other than her, I can't think of any interest in the women's division. Now, Bianca fighting Asuka, that's kind of a match I kind of want to see. Because they only got 4 minutes on SmackDown. But if they give it enough time, that two could probably have a banger. But after that, I don't know what Bianca does. Can't say Sonya Deville because she already beat Sonya Deville in her hometown. Can't do that. You could do Bliss, but Bliss, it's way too early for Bliss. Bliss just got back. So I wouldn't do Bliss. So you see, there's nothing for Bianca to do. Same for Ronda. After Raquel, which they gave away on SmackDown in a open challenge, who does she fight? You ain't gonna do Charlotte, 'cause Charlotte's gone. What, you gonna do heel Bayley? Like, that's cool. I mean, happy Bayley's back, but you know she's not winning. That's gonna ruin her return. They're gonna ruin her return. Because people want Bayley. Don't get me wrong. People have begged for Bayley to come back. People are like, we want Bayley. But Bayley, remember, is still hurt. She's not medically cleared yet. When she gets medically cleared by WWE doctors and doctors in general, Bayley will come back. Just keep an eye out. Just keep watching. She'll be there. Who else I got? Lacey. I would have said Lacey Evans, but Lacey Evans not Raw, so no Lacey Evans. So you see, that's the thing. It's not working out. It's just not. You know. Excuse me, I just woke up. My point is, I'm with Sasha and Naomi. If you gotta walk on creative, if you don't agree, with what they're doing. Same with Ember Moon, aka Athena. You walk out. You show the company, I'm frustrated. I'm not happy. I'm gonna go home. Now, I don't know if this means Sasha and Naomi just show up next week and we forget about this, or are they actually gonna hold out? Because they can just say, because their decision. WWE can't stop them. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to release them because you don't want to lose assets, but it doesn't mean Sasha and Naomi can just hold off and be like, I'm not coming to work. They could pull an Ember and say, I'm not coming to work. Like, like WWE could try to call Sasha Banks and Naomi, and they could be like, "Hey, we're not coming to work. We're not comfortable. Unless you give us something interesting to do and give us a chance, we are not coming back." Because Sasha did that after WrestleMania. Like she was so unhappy with Vince, she straight up just walked out. Like right after WrestleMania, had a mini kind of interview, and then did a picture with the Iconics, and then walked out. Bailey didn't walk. Bailey stayed obviously, but Sasha was just so frustrated, she walked out. So Banks can do the same thing, and Naomi. I can't forget about Naomi. Naomi's also in this. They can both stay home for an eternity until either they're ready to come back and try to get some sense into WWE, or they could just stay home and just make Vince living nightmare a reality. Because Vince needs Sasha Banks on the show. Sasha Banks draws numbers. You remember at SummerSlam where the place sold out because Sasha Banks was going to take on Bianca Belair at Las Vegas, but then Becky Lynch had to step in because Sasha just just didn't have the requirements to get into the arena. She had like COVID, not COVID, but like she didn't want to get the vaccine, right? Same thing here. Like she could just walk away. She could just come back out of nowhere. Maybe comes back with new hair or has other plans. But if they have nothing for Sasha Banks can make their lives a living nightmare, and Naomi too. They could just stay home. Because Banks did it before, she could do it again. She can go home with her husband, enjoy her life, while WWE tries to call her back. Banks might deny, who knows? Same with Naomi. Naomi can go home while the Usos are doing work with the Bloodline. She can go home with her husband, Jimmy, whatever. But then Jimmy can ask her what's wrong. It's such a like normal love stuff. You know how it is. But all I'm saying is Sasha Banks and Naomi, you have my full support. This might be a wake-up call for WWE. Because more stars can do this any moment. What do you think Brock did? Brock won the WWE title and threw it at Vince. He won the Universal title and threw it at him. And walked out. So anyone could just throw the belt and walk out. I've seen it way too many times. And not just for storyline purpose, legitimately walk out. So it depends. Will Sasha Banks and Naomi return to WWE and see if they have interesting for her? At least last time I said she could have just returned as a heel. And she did. She had the blue hair. She looked amazing. She was amazing on the mic. But once she turned babyface again, she finally won the title, but it was such a short reign. Sad, really. But we did get a banger between her and Bianca. I'll give her that. But then they gave it to Bianca. So, yeah. Anyway, so for Banks, for Naomi, you guys now have the plan in your book. You can go do what you want until WWE either apologizes to you two or WWE has something amazing that you can't pass up. But if they got nothing for you, don't go back. Just stay home because you could show WWE that superstars are not playing around. They want their business done, you gotta show it to them. So yeah. But that is my final 2 cents on the whole Sasha Banks and Naomi thing. I will see if Sasha Banks releases either a statement today or next week so we can see what her side says. Because at some point she's gonna have to drop a statement. She's gonna have to say what's going on. She's gonna have to talk to the fans. Just something. Send us a letter. Just something in general. Because we need to know what Sasha thinks. So I will be keeping an eye out to see what Sasha Banks has to say. And Naomi, because Naomi also has to pull a full statement as well. So yeah. that's the main Sasha Banks. That was the main story of the week. In other news, we have Dynamite tonight, Wild Card Wednesday. 2 wild card names for both men and women. We also have Jeff Hardy versus Adam Cole, baby. We have Ray Phoenix versus Kyle O'Reilly. And we have more after that. So, now that that's said, I want to focus on the 2 Jokers real quick. I won't wait too long on this, but I'll keep it brief. So for the women's one, I have a good idea on who I think it's going to be. Like I said before, when I did the whole rant about Ember Moon, I think it is going to be Athena. I just have a feeling Athena can really elevate this women's division. She's got the passion, she's got the energy for wrestling. You know, they got a lot of great women there, and there's like no tension in the back. They're all respected. They respect each other. They love each other. Like that women's division is like a nice place, and I think Athena would fit perfect in that women's division. It'll get her on TV more. I mean, you see her character, she's a badass. She's got a cool fin. She's got great body, by the way. She's not just a woman that's there. She can be kind of hot, too, sometimes. And she just seems right. It just seems perfect fit for Athena. Like look what Mia Yim did. Mia Yim went back to Impact for the next 6 months. So, that shows you that they're willing to go back to TV. And Athena could do that. That'd be a huge stage for Athena. Like, I generally would be hyped if it's Athena. Imagine Athena versus Toni Storm in the semifinals, because she's on the bracket of Toni Storm. Toni Storm won her first round match against Jamie Hager, which was pretty good, by the way. Really good match. Woman killed it. And Ruby Soho and Riho was decent on Friday too. Okay, so that's good to know. For the men's side, there are so many names for the men's side. It's insane. It could be a Johnny Gargano, which I could understand Candice going over to the women's side. I could see that. Because usually it's the duo, Johnny and Candice. I could see a Cesaro signing a Ring of Honor deal to not only do Ring of Honor, but AEW as well. So him and Samoa Joe can go down back to Ring of Honor and do some work. Who else can I see? I could literally see anyone, really. The men's one, it could be anyone. But if I'm a betting man, who do I think it should be? Oh, man. I really want it to be Cesaro. I really do. Like, I truly do. But my body is saying Cesaro's my dream pick. And the pick that people are not really talking about, and I actually looked at this as well. Brian Cage of Tony Blanchard's kind of group, the Enterprise. Because, yeah, they debuted in Ring of Honor in their Ring of Honor faction, but like you said, Cage said he's willing to go back to AEW. This could be a perfect time to bring him back. And you can have a really cool big man matchup, Brian Cage versus Samoa Joe. Where you could either have Samoa Joe win and have Cage lose, or you can have Cage win and shock the world and have Joe lose. But it'd be a cool big man matchup. It'd be 2 hosses going at each other. But Cage's obviously more athletic. But Joe's still athletic, so it'd be a pretty good battle. And of course, I gotta pick my winners. I think if it's Athena against Britt, Athena's gonna win. I just don't see Britt losing to. I see Britt losing to Athena in her debut. Even though that is a huge women getting eliminated. But Britt doesn't really need it. Britt already won the AEW Women's Championship. She doesn't need the Owen Hart Cup. She really doesn't. So, yeah. That's what I'd say there. For the men, I mean, I'm alright if Joe beats the debuting. Now, if it's Cesaro, I'd want Cesaro to win. But if Joe beats Cesaro, that's not horrible because Cesaro's probably going to have a banger match with Joe. If it's a Johnny gotta win all the way. Johnny and Joe have had some solid battles back in the day. Gotta give this one to Johnny if it's Johnny Gargano. That'd be an amazing NXT reunite with Willie Regal there. That'd be pretty sick. And then finally, Kyle O'Reilly and Ray Phoenix. I have a really good feeling they're gonna go Ray, but I'm gonna pull for Kylo because I feel like a House of Black member is gonna get involved. Probably Buddy Matthews probably get involved and set up their feud because they're still setting it up. So I'd say that's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. Um, let me think what else. Trying to think what else is going on with Dynamite. I think those are the important stuff. Yeah, those are the important stuff. Okay. Yeah, those are important stuff. Other things, probably going to hear Eddie Kingston talk about adding Danielson and Mox into the group to battle Jericho. Probably see a match announcement, etc. Yeah. Yes, that's what I'll say. Yes, that's what I'll say about Dynamite. Not be able to watch Dynamite, like I said, watch about um, MLB baseball game. But still gonna have a fun time though. Speaking of MLB, let's talk about our matchup that I'm going to today, May 18th, Wednesday night at 7:05 p.m. for the Cardinals. Jordan Hicks is pitching, who has a really nice fastball, nice changeup, decent pitch selection. He's pretty good. Versus the god himself, Max Scherzer. Scherzer at the Philly series did not have the best start, but still had a strong start. He struck out a lot of batters. Same in the other series, not bad. This one has a chance for Scherzer to go a long way because nothing against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a really good, powerful team if they hit the ball hard. But also, the last time Scherzer was in St. Louis, she struck out 10 batters, no problem, over 7 innings. We could probably see a Scherzer type performance tonight. Now, prediction on who's gonna get hits. I'm praying Lindor gets a hit. I'm praying Alonso gets a hit. Maybe Brandon Nimmo, which he did say he was injured, but it depends on game time decision. I think he's going to be okay. I heard the injury wasn't too bad, so I think Brandon Nimmo will play. I kind of hope, I want to say Marte, but I forgot. By the way, I feel bad. All my wishes and prayers go out to Starlin Marte's grandmother and him because his grandmother just passed away. So I wish Starling and his family the best because you never want to see a situation like that and you got to play through baseball. So he's gonna do you proud. Anyway, yeah, legitimately can go any direction. So now, if I'm predicting the score, if Jordan Hicks has a good start, it's gonna be a low-scoring game because I already know Scherzer is probably gonna go off. Scherzer is probably gonna be angry. We're gonna get angry Max, right? Because when Max gets frustrated, you get the best version of Max. They call him Mad Max for a reason. So, prediction score, it could be a blowout, and the Mets could straight up just blow them out. Or the Cardinals could surprise a few people and beat Scherzer. But unfortunately, I just don't see that. Scherzer's stuff is so nasty. I just don't see it. Maybe Arenado gets a homer, maybe. Or maybe Goldschmidt gets a homer, maybe. But other than those two hitting homers, I just don't see it. So for Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals, I also hope Albert's gonna DH. I kind of want to see Albert play. So, but we'll see. Right. So I would say Scherzer's gonna go. I'm gonna say he's gonna go 8 innings. Yeah. If he's got a no hitter going, you put him in all the way. But if he can't go, but if he gets hit on or he hits a homer or a mistake, you take him out of the game. He's probably gonna go 8 innings to 7 innings. Jordan Hicks, I can see him go 6. possibly 5 if the things that going on. I don't expect him to get eliminated so quickly because he's a really underrated pitcher. So I don't see that happening. It'd be crazy if the Mets just went on a scoring clinic and just dominated Jordan Hicks, but I don't know if that's gonna happen because Jordan Hicks has a really nice fastball. It's like 100 plus miles an hour. So don't sleep on Jordan Hicks. So yeah, I'm gonna go low scoring game. I must say the Mets win. Uh, I'm gonna go Mets 3, Cardinals 2. I'm gonna rock with that. I think that's a good score. So the Cardinals probably get 2 from either a hit from the young guys, a hit from Goldschmidt, possibly a hit from Aaron Nardo, or a possible maybe double from Edman. Maybe Tyler O'Neill gets a hit in there too. Anything's possible. And Dylan Carlson possibly. So I could see that. But then I think Diaz is going to come in for the save and close it out. Now, if Scherzer goes all the way, first of all, I'm going to be surprised, first of all. And two, that'd be another no-hitter in the last 2 months. That'd be insane. And Scherzer's done it before. Scherzer has hit a no-hitter before. When he was in Washington, he had a lot of no-hitters. So it is possible, because Mad Max, even for his age, still has a lot left to take. He's like Justin Verlander. He doesn't age. Justin Verlander is having an amazing season, even though he's like 30-something. Same with Scherzer. So, this is going to be my first time seeing Scherzer pitch in real life, because when the Washington Nationals come to town, I missed him a lot. But now, since he's in New York, Met, for the foreseeable future, I can finally see him pitch. Now, the one goal pitcher that I want to see pitch is obviously Jacob deGrom. It's going to be nice to see Scherzer because that's one of my bucket lists. But I got to see Jacob deGrom pitch this summer. I have to. Either after All-Star break or like just around that area. I need to see a Jacob deGrom day because Jacob deGrom is nasty. Just the health is sometimes not on his side. So I hope he could stay healthy. But yeah, that's my kind of MLB breakdown. I guess talk about some other stuff around the world of news. Marvel trying to announce stuff. Just announced She-Hulk for Disney Plus in August, right after Thor, Love and Thunder. She-Hulk, I want to try to give it a chance because the actor they picked for She-Hulk is a very good casting. Very good casting. She fits She-Hulk really well. But on the other hand, dude, the CGI looks so uninspiring. It doesn't look good. They definitely didn't use much of a budget. They were able to get Mark, who was the original Hulk, when he's Professor Hulk. It just feels weird, you know? It doesn't feel natural. At least with Moon Knight, it felt natural. It felt like he could take the role, you know? This one, I don't know yet. I'm in the same thing with Thor, by the way. I need to see a second trailer of Thor with Christopher Bale before I can get any hype for Thor. I need to see Chris Bale first. Before I make that decision, I need to see Chris Bale. Because apparently Christopher Bale is going to be having an amazing villain. Apparently. But we don't know that because we haven't seen it yet. So when that second trailer for Thor comes out, it's going to be an important trailer. Because some people are kind of torn. I'm in the same boat. I'm torn. A lot of people are excited. I can see why. But I'm super torn. Sorry. Oh my god. I'm super torn. There we go. On if I want to give it hype. Because I like where they're going with it, with him kind of putting away the god kind of style and just walking away, trying to enjoy life. Because gods can't really enjoy life sometimes. Sometimes they gotta be busy doing work. For him to put that aside, that's really cool storytelling. That could be cool if done right. The issue is, I think in my opinion, the issue is it's a whole thing with like it just feels weird, okay? But if it's done right, it can be magnificent, you know? And maybe it does surprise me. I know a lot of people were very worried about Thor Ragnarok, but Thor Ragnarok slapped. I'm not saying it's gonna be a Thor Ragnarok, but I'm just saying it could slap. It could be good. Okay? Because the only other movie that I'm actually generally hyped for is actually in December, actually. It's Avatar. The reason is, first of all, it's gonna look gorgeous. It's gonna look absolutely insane. But to see the Avatar people fighting with like the real world, with like machinery ruin their world and like kind of taking over, it's gonna be a fun battle, I think, honestly. So Avatar, the second Avatar in many years. It's the only other hype thing I'm actually genuinely looking forward to. Unless another movie comes out of nowhere and surprises me. Because there's barely any DC films this year. Other than maybe Batman, that's about it. That's the only thing that's came out. Everything else, yeah, not really. Which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to Black Adam. I was looking forward to Black Adam with The Rock. He put out more screenshots. He looks awesome. Black Adam looks amazing. But I gotta see it in action first. I gotta see a full trailer. We only got a teaser at DC Fandom. But when that first trailer comes out, it's GG's, y'all. Black Adam about to slap. Now, with Aquaman 2, we know the depth situation with Amber Heard. I don't want to talk about it. It's a lot of bullshit, but just want to put it out there. For Flash, same thing again. Other actor in trouble. Gonna need a replacement. That ruins that whole film for now. And yeah, so yeah, nothing too hot for DC. I can't even say Gotham Knights even looks good. It kind of just looks meh. It was kind of rough footage. Didn't love it. Not interesting. Yeah, other than Suicide Squad, which is made by Rocksteady, which I think they're gonna kill it. Like, no one thing. There's not really any hype for DC and Marvel films going forward for now. Now DC can come out of nowhere and just put on a banger like Shazam, which if Shazam's still coming out this year, I'll take Shazam in the holiday because I fucking love Shazam. I love the first one. The first one was so good. If they kill it with the second one, no issues here. That would be my Christmas blockbuster other than Avatar. So we'll see. But that's what I'd say about movies coming up in the next couple of months. It's like definitely gonna be a weird couple of months coming up. Summer's definitely gonna be a weird month because usually that one blockbuster kind of film. But one thing I'll say is Thor can be that blockbuster. It can be. I'm not saying it's not because this Chris Hemsworth, it is Thor. You love to see it. They're already doing promotion. They did promotion with NBA last night. I saw the trailer. So they have the budget to do it. But can they put it together and not make it as weird as it is? Because yeah, you can still do the comedy. Like, dude, I mean, Thor's comedy in Ragnarok was super funny. So if you do that with Thor here, I'm not gonna have an issue with it because that's what I feel like Thor needed. Because the first couple of films where they try to make him serious, not horrible, but definitely not the best. But since he's become this kind of a douchebag, like kind of idiot that just drinks beer, Fat Thor meme. I mean, yeah, I love it. So, yeah. So that's potential, like I said. Yeah, that's what I say about films. Um, hey, a good thing for Star Wars fans. Obi-Wan Kenobi in the next couple weeks. May 25th. Obi-Wan Kenobi goes live on Disney Plus, and I am so excited for it. I know we barely got anything on trailers. We got a little taste of it on Star Wars Day, but still don't know what to expect. I expect obviously the story of what happened after the whole Palpatine thing where he let Palpatine become the Emperor and destroy everything. I expect that. That's a story that I actually want to see, actually. But this could turn into a wild roller coaster. Like it just seems like they're putting their full best effort because dude, they were able to get the original actors for this show specifically. Especially Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan sounds just like Obi-Wan back in the day. Doesn't sound any different. So if they were to get his story, that's what I'm intrigued with. What happened in the middle when Palpatine became an emperor? How did it affect Obi-Wan? How did it affect his mindset? And how did he battle that? Because he was a hunted man after that happened. So I'm intrigued with that story. I want to hear that side of the story. And I think Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Disney show can do that. So Star Wars fans, I'd say be hype. I would say be hype because that has a lot of potential. And I'm kind of hyped. So that's one thing I am hyped about this month is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, and of course pay-per-views, of course, which I'm going to go over my Brian pay-per-view schedule and what I have marked right now. And here is my pay-per-view schedule. Alright, so my pay-per-view schedule is basically almost complete for May, but I've got to add a show, so the pay-per-view schedule was Under Siege, which was very good, by the way. Watch that. WrestleMania Backlash was a lot better than I thought. Not great, but okay. Cody Seth was a banger. The main event slapped. The women's match was okay, but still kind of boring to me. It was alright. Alright show for a lot better than I thought it was going to be, though. And New Japan Capital Collision, fucking excellent show. I recommend going watch that. Eddie Kicks Ishii was a match of the year quality. The main event slapped as well. The Fatal 4 for the U.S. title slapped. And the Okada match was fun, high action as well. So I recommend it. And the middle, I'm actually going to put GCW a Downward Spiral because I did buy that. So GCW Downward Spiral will be in the middle. And then finally, the final show of the May, the one that's going to end it off the rest of the May for a while. AEW Double or Nothing, May 29th, 7 to 7:30 for the buy-in, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be watching that live with Manny, and it's going to be a fun time. So my schedule is getting quite heavy. We also got Obi-Wan Kenobi as well in the middle, and the rest goes on. So now I ask the question, would you like to see a review of most of these shows? And also, would you like me to talk about each episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Let me know. Because I want to start doing series episode talks. But I want to know from you guys if you really want to see that. Because if you guys don't want to see it, I won't do it. I'll just do it with my man Manny and move on. But if you want me to do an actual YouTube video, a spoiler but not spoiler talk against for Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll do it. Because I'm kind of passionate about this series coming up, I'd say. So that's my question of the day. Let's see if there's any final news. Real quick. See what's going on in the wrestling world. Oh, by the way, the DLC came out. I was gonna give you a showcase, but my friends fucked it all up. So I kinda gotta fix that. So I'll do that later when they get on. I'll say, can we finally do a full DLC review? Because I want to review the DLC. I want to use everyone. I want to try everyone out. But Ethan was being too much of a douchebag. I was being a freaking pussy. Being like, oh, I got too many invites. Like, come on, Ethan. It's just invites. Relax. I get it, you're annoyed, but like, come on. But I don't know if I'm going to even be able to do that because I got to get ready for the baseball game. So if that's not today, definitely tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow I'm doing a DLC showcase. 100%. 100%. And I also got to record Rampage as well. So, yeah. But yeah, so on to our final little story. It's just a short little story, and I'll give my initial thoughts on it. Ric Flair is going to be wrestling one last time in Nashville for Jim Crockett Promotions. He will be stepping back into the ring in July to send it home. Ric Flair wrestling at 73 is crazy. He could do whatever he wants with his life. I know the documentary kind of drowned him out. And AEW was just going to bring him in as a manager. But they didn't do it because of the whole controversy. You know, they didn't want any controversy on their hands. And I respect that. But, you know, it's finally kind of a thing of kind of, you know, you're 73. You shouldn't do it. Unless you're in unless he gets in the best shape of his life, I just don't see it looking well. Now, for Sting, on the other hand, Sting, which is a good example, is done right. When Sting needs to compete in tough matches, he'll compete. If he needs to do a match, he'll compete. And they keep it as safe as possible for Sting, where he don't need to take his hard bumps. He can take some hard bumps, but not every bump. Like he even no sells the tables, the power bomb spots. He no sells the chair, no sells the kendo stick. Like he no sells mostly everything as like kind of a meme, but it's still funny and awesome to look at. So yeah, I just want to put that factoid out. Now I want to talk about Double or Nothing update. They obviously announced Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb main event. Adam Heyman paid CM Punk. I'm not gonna talk about a prediction. I'm just saying before we go. And they added an extra match to the buy-in. It is official. It is Hookhausen making their tag team debut on the buy-in versus Sterling, Mark Sterling of the Jade brand and Tony Nese, of course. So that's gonna be a fun match, and it's gonna be cool to see Hookhausen on the buy-in. I believe that's it. Oh, and also by the way, I just want to say the Kanye album was a banger of an album. Some of the songs on that Kanye album are insane. And I think it's N94, I think. Really good song. Love that song. But that uh cry song, I think it's like We Cry Everything, I think it's called. Or We Cry Together, that's the name of it. Dude, that's probably the most toxic relationship, but the most relatable relationship I've probably ever seen. Because it do be like that. Like, it's probably the most crazy song I've ever heard. I listened to it over and over again on the rewatch because it was so insane on some of the things that Kanye and the girl that he was representing, the girl that's representing, saying to Kanye and going back and forth. It was insanity. I saw everyone's reaction to it. I saw shout out in the clutch. I saw their reaction to it. It was really good. I saw No Life Shack. Shout out to him. Crazy, crazy song. Yeah, but there were some literal bangers on this album. Kanye, oh no, sorry, not Kanye. Kendrick went crazy. I know my friend was not a fan of the beat of Heart Part 5, but I told him, bro, it's an intermenstrual, a sample. So expect what you're gonna get. Cause one thing I don't understand about some of my friends, all they care about is a beat. It's all they care about. Like it's not about the beat, dude. Yeah, it's supposed to sound nice, but it's about the lyricism. It's not about the beat. That's what rapping is. Rapping is a lyricism. You speak your shit, bro. Unless you're a mumble rapper, that's different. But you speak your shit. You know what I'm saying? So this idea of you have to have a good beat to have a good song, not really true. You can have a beat without and still have bars. Gotta have bars. Why do you think J. Cole not only is a great beat selection, he focuses on the lyricism because he's that good. Drake always has a classic Drake beat, but he's always super flowy with it. And I'm saying now, the whole joke of Drake having ghostwriters, no dog, no way, dog. He does it all on his own. So you know what I mean? So that's like my one thing with that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for joining me for the Brian News Report. Um, incredible news we had tonight, and it was insane. So I'm gonna go enjoy a baseball game later tonight. I probably might be live if my friends are down to do it to DLC. I might record it. We'll see. But yeah, it's been your Brian News Report. Signing off.